Good morning. Good morning. What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? It is Saturday, May the 17th, a big day. A lot of stuff going on that your boy is going to try to be at today and attend, but it's a beautiful day, May 17th, and we're back for another episode of Live from the Resource Center. You see, I got my supporting my beloved. It's a little snug, but we're gonna make it work. But I'm just glad everybody is jumping on, and we're gonna be short today. I'm only gonna be with you about 20-25 minutes because we got a lot of stuff going on, because we're gonna try to come back live from several of the things we'll be attending today, and especially the important one that we'll get to in a minute. So I'm just glad everybody's coming on in, and let's go ahead and get started. All right. So look, like I say, we're not gonna be here long this morning. Got some things to be doing, and we're gonna go live from uh from the big things that's going on today. And I just want to share a couple of reminders. And this is for those who are in the Greensboro, High Point, Triad area. Uh, uh, if you don't have any plans this afternoon, I want to share this with you. Here we go. Give me 1 second. Gotta get it. Getting the technology together. All right. But want to say, for those who are in the Greensboro, High Point, Triad area today, beginning at 1 a.m., 1 p.m., you got the Blues and Foods Festival Spring Fling by the Piedmont Blues Preservation Society in Safer Cities, Greensboro. It'll be at Renaissance Shopping Centers off of Phillips Avenue, right there near the McGirt Horton Library. So come on out. They'll have live music, food, crafts, vendors, some community resources, things you can pick up. So come on out. That's from 1 to 5 this afternoon. So please, if you're in the area, come on out. I also want to lift up something that is coming, that the community center and recreation center that I work with, Pila Recreation Center, will be hosting that first Saturday in June. If you can, in the area, on Saturday, June 7th, we will be hosting the third annual Intergenerational Friends and Culture Fest at the Pila Recreation Center, 1300 Sykes Avenue. This is also hosted by, this is in partnership with the City of Greensboro, Parks and Rec, Safer Cities, Remedy Bank, the Greensboro Police Department. So come on out. It's a free, fun event. There'll be vendors. There'll be some performances. There'll be information. There'll be a lot of things going on, and we'll keep reminding everybody of this event. But this will be Saturday, June the 7th, from 12 noon until 4 p.m. So come on out if you can. So with that said, just want to highlight a couple things, and then maybe bring a brief thought, and then we'll get on out of here. I'm looking for my props. I don't have it, but we'll do that. I'll send a reminder and then get right. But so the big thing, and like I say, that will be gotta get going on Instagram. Is this evening as we've been talking about some this week, is the third annual Toast to Education, hosted by Greensboro native son and NFL player DJ Reader. Um, and I've had the pleasure of knowing DJ and his family, and having the pleasure of coaching him. And this is the third annual gala, which raises funds for some of the work that he's doing with the area schools in the city that he plays in. He's currently with the Detroit Lions, so he's planning to do some big things in that city. But previously, he was with the Cincinnati Bengals and had done some great things with interactive classrooms, helping getting more resources for some of the elementary schools. He used to do some big uh, Thanksgiving events to give away turkeys and food during the holidays. He's just done some wonderful things. So I am just honored to be able to be a part of this and celebrate with him as we toast education and raise money to do good for those future leaders in the city of Detroit. And also, and we'll be plugging this too, he will be doing his football camp here in Greensboro in June as well. So we'll start getting that information up. But he does a free football camp at Grimsley High School, his alma mater, every June. So we'll get the information. If you're in the area, you want to sign up. I think the signups for the football camp open tomorrow. So we'll be posting information, but you can go to the website. We had put it in there earlier in the week in the chat, but you can go to his website, A Son Never Forgets Foundation. And I'm going to put it back in the chat, and you can go find that. As you watch the show, but make sure you go check that out. You can make a donation to his foundation to help with the great things he's doing. You can also get the information on the football camp, but that registration begins tomorrow, and the football camp is, I believe, June 21st, I want to say. But we'll get that information out. So with that, real quick, we got about 15 minutes. Don't want to dwell too long, but we want to kind of speak on something real quick. Get all this loaded. sonneverforgets.org. And then we'll do our reading kind of update on the book we've been talking about. But it was interesting. I got to see a partner of mine, a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in a minute, and really had a chance to really talk to. And we were just kind of talking about, life going forward. Throughout, we've all had some sort of challenges, whether it be health, wealth, or in the sense of monetary. But we know true wealth. We'll get into that another day. But just having a discussion just about everything, and I was just kind of updating them on my journey recently, because I've been trying to get back to myself, and this kind of linked with just other conversations I've had with other friends. And we're in a season of a lot of uncertainty with everything that's going on in our nation, around the world, even as I like to stress, even within our state, our communities, but just talking about really being present. And I brought this notion up uh, that, you know, oftentimes with the chaos of the day and the many hats we wear and the many things we're responsible for, and then the many things we want to do and accomplish, these things kind of get jumbled and kind of get us stirred up to where we can't really be present and really enjoy or stay attuned to what's going on, or really focusing on one thing that we can be present and be effective in. And I said one thing that I've tried to do besides the normal things I try to do with fasting and prayer, but I've tried to be a little more intentional with just making sure I'm present in the moment. I said, as many know, I want to be active and I want to try to do stuff, and I've tried to force some things, and then tried to wait on others, and I kind of get a little stretched in certain things, and but I told the brother, I said, you know, I found out that more things start to vibrate and become attracted once I'm just present and I'm aware of the moment and what's going on. And then those things just kind of gravitate towards you, or you gravitate towards it, however you want to put it. But I said, you know, a lot of the things that I prayed on and meditated on, you know, I'm forcing, or I'm looking hard and stressing out about it. But once I kind of slowed down and just said, just be present, just be available, right? Just listen. You know, I've been gifted to really now be around like-minded individuals, or those who share similar passions. There are some things that are now on the horizon that I'm uh, about to be a part of, or certain things that I have been a part of, um, just in line with a lot of the things that I hoped to do and desire to do and passionate about. And, you know, I just said, you know, slow down, don't force it, be present. And now those things are starting to come to fruition. I just look at the opportunity just this past week to share with the NAACP and meet some of the legislators who are charged with looking out for our rights, right, in the state, and just the good conversations that were had. But it was just being present. You know, for a while, I kind of been distant, had so much going on, but I just said, you know what, just be there, see what happens. Uh, it was a great day. Just opportunities to be a part of different things have come just because I've chosen to be there. So I leave that to say this so I don't harp, but just make sure in everything that we do, just be present, be able to listen, be able to uh, uh, decipher, be aware of what's going on, and then you'll find that you're right where you need to be. Right? I'm not a big person on coincidences. I think everything has a purpose, has a reason. But for us to appreciate it and be effective, we must be present. So, in that, just talking about that, I said, in that presence, it's allowed me to focus even more on the things that I do for my wellness, my health, my well being, right? Uh, just that intentionality in my meditations, my prayers. Focus, stay in the moment. Try to control that mind, not let it run everywhere. Um, when I'm engaging with people and meeting people, be present. You know, a lot of times with this technology and stuff that we have, right, we can get a little sidetracked, right? Or we can kind of get off into our own thing. Well, but um, I just find that now, especially as things slow down, you know, I'm getting a little older. You can see by the gray, you know, you just want to be present and enjoy. the moments that you have. And one thing that we've learned just looking at those we've probably lost or those who are going through certain issues, you just want to make sure you cherish and appreciate the moments you have, right? So I'm gonna get off that while we winding down, and then I'm gonna make one announcement, and then um, I'm gonna get into a little bit of what we're reading. But I want everybody just to be reminded that you can follow us on IG, the RCB store on Facebook, the Resource Center bookstore, and you can email us at the RCB store at Gmail. But one other thing I want to tell everybody, we're going to kind of make a shift. And as you see, all right, you can catch us every Saturday morning. That's not changing. But in June, we're going to kind of move it, I guess you'd say back an hour. We'll move it back an hour to 8 a.m., but we'll keep reminding everybody because I want to make sure everybody's up and engaging because, we want to see people in the chat. We want people to chime in. We want people to share with us. So um, beginning June, we'll be going live at 8 a.m. So with that, I want to remind everybody one more time. All right. So before we close out this morning, just want to remind everybody of our book of the month, Everybody Eats, Communication in the Path to Food Justice. We had co-author Dr. Naisha Douglas on a couple weeks ago, and we had a great discussion. But there was one thing I wanted to lift up, and I think this is vital, like in anything we do, right? Keep my bookmark. But there was an interesting note on how we plan kind of our goals with what we're advocating for or what we're trying to communicate. And one thing that the book did a breakdown on in engaging communities, right? Once we define our community, once we define the needs of it, how we are going to communicate the need to address whatever issue or problem that we're trying to solve. They gave an outlook on what it looks like what a short term process of engagement looks like, what a medium term looks like, and what a long term looks like. And I'm going to read them, but then I'm kind of break it down to, or just look at it from the whole perspective. But once again, these are strategies and what it looks like, based on food systems and food advocacy. But like a short-term goal was documenting available resources, counseling communities on maximizing those resources, identifying quality and quantity inequities across neighborhoods, educating consumers about food resources. So we see a lot of in the short term is more about identification of the resources you have, and then educating our community, our group on those resources and how much is available. Is there a lack of, right? And then we educate the consumers on those resources. So that's kind of a short term. And I think a lot of times, in our organizations and stuff, we kind of see that like kind of play out. It's really a short term. I know I've done some programs that have been centered around educating people, throwing stuff out there, just like this show, the Resource Center, right? This is kind of a short term goal when we look at it in this perspective. right? So there's an area of it, but when we narrow it down, it's really short term. So let's look at the medium term, right? The medium term is connecting with partners from existing food programs like pantries, agriculture projects, farmers markets, right? And creating multi-sector partnerships, networks, food councils, facilitating a participatory decision making and policy development, and mapping community resources for public use. So, in that medium term, and we can apply this to whatever thing we're doing, but it starts to show the need to move into partnerships. Like once we've identified the resources and done the short term, if we're ready to move to the medium term, right? We identify those other partners and those other programs that are doing things similar, and we start to see partnerships so that we can become a stronger like alliance or collaborative, right? And we establish networks, right? That are addressing. Um, and then eventually, in establishing those networks, we begin to develop those advocacy groups and those that are pushing for public policy or changes to something, right? So we start to see the change come in that, right? And then we start to also assess the resources so that the public now can use them and benefit, and it becomes advantageous. So you're moving into the action. And then finally the long term, right? Now this is the big, and this is what we kind of see with some of the larger movements, right? Poor People's Campaign, labor unions, right? This is the long term goal, right? They say advocating for fair wages, housing standards to address poverty, dismantling structural barriers, including racism, sexism, that privilege some community members' participation over others, right? Mobilizing local governments to institutionalize fair land use policies and agriculture programs, promote community self-reliance to meet nutritional goals, and incentivize business development in low income neighborhoods. So we see even in this and long-term goals, it may even extend outside of what your primary focus issue is, right? When you start to advocate policy, but now you're moving to dismantle certain social constructs like that inhibit people or impede on people or suppress people, right? So when we get to the long-term goal, we're really seeking to change like the holistic aspect of those factors that might be causing in this case, the food insecurity versus the food security. But I just wanted to lay that out. It was a great thing, and I like to be able to see and visualize. But I thought it would be great to share to kind of be a map. Even if we're doing something to address maybe certain aspects of community health that might not be specifically on food justice, but it could be on health education and awareness, like to a community. We got to know what the short term looks like, what the medium term, what the long term. So now we have a better focus when we start our organizations or when we do projects or whatever it is to address these things. We have the goal set and we know where we're going. We know what we need to do and we know how we need to move. So I just thought that was powerful that they shared that and kind of gave a vision of what it looks like, because that can be a guide for all of us to use. So I'm going to shut my mouth right there and stop talking. But I just want to say, catch us this evening. We're going to go live from the gala. We'll see if we can get some interviews or something, but we'll have pictures. We'll go live and we'll share out. So I'm going to get moving because this is a long day because I got to stop by 2 or 3 events today. Just before I get to the gala. So, but we'll we'll be back on Wednesday with Wednesday Wisdom, but make sure you like, share, subscribe. And I just want to thank all those who popped in this morning. And I pray you have a blessed day. And we'll see you on Wednesday.